Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the August 1st, 2012 special meeting, Daytona Beach CRA. We're delighted to have you with us this evening. Ms. Thomas will review the procedures for tonight's meeting.
Good evening. Agendas are available in the front of the room on the table to my right. All of the exhibits pertaining to items on the agenda are posted on the bulletin board here in the chambers. Please feel free to view them at any time during tonight's meeting. You are required to fill out a blue form. My assistant, Ms. LaMagna, is holding that form up. You must complete the sections that ask for your name, address, topic of concern, agenda item number, signature, and date. The form must be completed prior to the item coming before the Community Redevelopment Agency. There is one additional opportunity for citizens to speak before the Community Redevelopment Agency Board. It is item number 7. All citizens completing a blue form will be allowed to speak for 2 minutes. When you approach the lectern, please speak clearly into the mic and give your full name and address. The 2-minute clock will begin. You will be told when your time has expired. All conversation must take place either at the lectern or on the dais so that everyone can hear the business that's being discussed tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Henry? Here. Commissioner Reynolds? Here. Commissioner Shelley? Here. Commissioner Woods? Here. Commissioner White? Here. Commissioner Gilliland? Here. Mayor Glenn Ritchie?
Here. We'll now have the invocation led by Commissioner Shelley, followed by the pledge led by Commissioner Henry. Please rise for the invocation and pledge.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening to ask for your guidance, your wisdom. Grant us calm spirits and level heads as we make decisions that better and bring value to the city of Daytona Beach. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now move on to item 4A. It is the approval of the July 18th minutes of the Community Redevelopment Agency.
Second. Commissioner Gilliland is the motion. Commissioner Henry is the second. Is there any questions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Aye. Like sign opposed. That motion carries 7-0. We'll now move on to item number 5, the agenda approval. If there's any changes, manager, read them at this time. You have no changes, Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Gilliland's motion. Commissioner Reynolds is the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. 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 Like sign opposed. That motion carries 7-0. Now move on to administrative items. And
item number 6A is our International Speedway Boulevard Streetscape CHP Engineers, Inc. contract amendment, a resolution approving the first amendment to the professional services contract with CPH Engineers, Inc. for the International Speedway Boulevard Streetscape project within the downtown and the Main Street redevelopment areas, providing for the development of additional conceptual design options at no additional cost, authorizing the chair and the city clerk to execute the First Amendment and providing an effective date.
Second.
Commissioner Gilliland's motion. Commissioner Shelley is the second. Is there anyone to speak to this?
Yes, sir. I do have one speaker. That is John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Cranberry Avenue. I question why you're going to leave 2 city blocks out. You're concerning yourselves with 17 city blocks, and you're going to do all 15 and leave 2 out. So the question is, are you going to leave the 2 out undone, or is Midtown going to do the 2, so they're going to design for downtown? So the question is, are we leaving it out completely, or is Midtown going to pay for and design those 2 city blocks?
Okay. Anyone else?
That is our final speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Is there any questions or comments from the commission of the CRA board? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye. 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 Like sign opposed. That motion carries 7-0. Next.
Moving on to item 6B, it is the Midtown Redevelopment Master Plan Amendments Resolution. A resolution approving amendments to the redevelopment plan for the Midtown redevelopment area to adopt goals, objectives, and standards recommended in the Midtown Master Plan prepared by Florida A&M University School of Architecture, incorporating the Midtown Master Plan as an appendix and providing an effective date.
So moved.
Commissioner Shelley is the motion. Commissioner Reynolds is the second. Anyone to speak to this?
I do have two speakers. Our first speaker is John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Granbury Avenue. Just for the record, since you're not going to comment on issues that the community considers important, and I thought Edith was going to ask a question, but I guess she didn't. Is Midtown going to be part of the city as a whole, or are they going to be a community unto themselves? We saw the issue over several things. One was the convenience stores, then the automobiles. We need jobs. We need to fill in our community. Buildings that have been vacant for 20, 25 years need to be torn down and replaced. I understand they have a template, what they want in there, Gucci, Rolex, top of the line. I don't think they're going to get it. It's a nice thing to shoot for, but it's not going to come to pass. So while they're waiting for the renovation that will come in 30 to 40 years, those projects that are viable and will fit into the community and give jobs, I think have to be at least considered, and considered well. Those jobs are desperately needed for the city as a whole, not just for that community. It's a very, very large CRA. Those projects would fit in there and fit in there well, at least for 20 or 30 years. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hennis Ivey.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission. I thank you for...
State your name and address, please.
I'm so sorry. Hennis Ivey, 314 South Franklin Street, Daytona Beach, Florida, Midtown, Sherman. I thank you for finally bringing the master plan up on the CRA, but I wanted to make sure, instead of saying adopting the goals, that we adopt the plan, and that we adopt the plan with revisions, knowing that revisions are going to come forth. We also talked about in our meeting about the redevelopment plan itself also, and we're trying to move both of these through the system simultaneously for we can be in line when the Clarion report comes out. We can make sure that we stay in line with the remaining parts of the city. So I'm asking that when you make your vote, that you vote that we adopt a complete master plan with revisions to come forth. And I think that's the way that we stated it in the Midtown Redevelopment Board meeting. So I would ask that you consider that, and we move it forward that way. And if there's any other questions, I did bring our minutes where we stated that. So just want to make sure not the goals, but the plan itself is fully adopted. Thank you.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Pastor Victor Gooden, and on deck is Johnny Ponder.
Pastor Victor Gooden, 809 Pelican Bay Drive, Daytona Beach, Florida. Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, Ms. Chisholm, I'm at a point where divisiveness is not an answer to bring the city together. And Midtown is a part of the city, of the state of Florida, of the United States of America. It's not an island all by itself. And so the same afforded equities that are given to every other CRA and given to every other group, such as Midtown, should be given to Midtown. And so when our statements about is Midtown going to be all to themselves, I know that you are not going to be legally responsible for doing something that idiotic or ludicrous anyway. So my point of the record is this. Let's just treat it fair. Let's cut out the divisiveness, get the job done, and treat everybody like they ought to be treated. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Johnny Ponder.
Johnny Ponder, 885 Mealy, Daytona Beach. I was a little disturbed about being separate. We are a part of Daytona Beach, and we will continue to be a part of Daytona Beach. Because we want things a little bit different doesn't mean that we're not a part. This is my home. I'm 54 years old and I live here. And because I live in Midtown, I'm concerned about all of Daytona Beach. Because without the core, the rest of the city is nothing anyway. So we need to make sure that the bridges and the Orange Avenue gets done and the master plan, which we as a board have been working on. And I hope that you see your way clear of passing the master plan. That's what we want, the master plan. Policies and procedures can come later. We need the master plan adopted, okay, with what we have done. The master plan is a full plan. It is not to be, divided up. It's a full plan, and we need to adopt that as it is right now. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That is our final speaker, Mr. Mayor.
The master plan was presented, and I think individually and collectively, the commission here viewed that as a quite a comprehensive and well thought out plan. On the other hand, I think Mr. Ivey made a very pertinent comment when he said, as we move forward, there can be things that are unanticipated, things that happen, and so it gets back to our most rigid policy has to be flexibility and things. And I don't mean necessarily with the plan, but definitive dates that might appear in the plan, like 2015. I think I saw one of the dates in there. I think as long as we all understand and agree, that depends on funding that's available at that time. That depends on things that we can't sit here today and say absolutely they will be there in place and available. However, we absolutely will work toward making the agreement happen. But I do believe that people need to understand that it's a work in process and that things can occur that we need to sit down together and work through when that time arises. And I can't give you an example of what that would be because I don't know, but the point is, as we work through the process, we need to work together to ensure that if there are things that we're obligated to do in certain times, that is absolutely going to be dependent on the availability of the dollars and our ability to get that accomplished. So, in that spirit, I'm supporting this. Understanding that there could be further conversations when we sit down and say, here's what we said it was going to be in 2017, might be in 2016, or it might be in 2018, but we're working toward that goal without altering that goal. So I'll open it up. Any other?
Mr. Mayor, could I hear from Reed Berger?
Absolutely.
I have a couple of questions.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Reed Berger, Redevelopment Director.
Yes, Reed. I know, the question has been for quite some time, when is the plan going to be adopted by the CRA and the City Commission? Is this just a step towards that action, or?
This is one step to recognize that the master plan is a part of the redevelopment plan. And what it does is it's just like the riverfront plan, master plan we had, we put that into the redevelopment plan. The E-zone plan the same way. It's the same process to include it in there so that any policies, particularly if they have to deal with funding, those that we want to take from that master plan and specify now we can, later we can continue to add to the document, amend the document as we move forward. Obviously, there's a couple other steps that have to take place, which is changing the comprehensive plan and the land development code. And as you know, the rewrite proposal is moving forward. And a part of addressing some of the land use and the code changes is going to be coming up here over the next several months.
And so you're saying that we have to do those before we can accept the...
Not adopt, I'm not saying you have to do that before you adopt the plan. You can adopt a master plan, and I think we did that with the E-zone master plan. We can bring that to the commission, and we can do that.
Well, could we do that tonight? If we could make a motion to do that tonight, because this is something that has been, going on, and questions have arisen, and I'm not quite understanding yet, why we haven't accomplished it. And just as the mayor said, even all the plans, there are always changes. They're fluid documents. And so, we're still, Midtown is still the only redevelopment area without an adopted plan. So I'm sort of in a
Yeah, could you clarify, because in the resolution it says this is being attached, the whole thing is an appendix to our plan.
Yeah.
So I'm not clear on, I thought that's what we were doing.
I did too.
Yeah, what we're doing tonight, this is the CRA reviewing the plan. The statutory process for amendment of the redevelopment plan is that first the CRA reviews it and makes a recommendation to the city commission. And then you have to send within 15 days notice to the taxing authorities that contribute to the redevelopment fund. So after this meeting, that notice goes out to the taxing authorities, and they have 2 weeks to review the plan amendment, and then the city commission can act. So I'm not sure what his schedule is. If it requires the 15 days, I guess it's going to be in the, what meeting do you have it
We
scheduled
can wrap this
for?
up. We have a meeting in August and in September.
The first meeting in September
Sure.
with the city commission.
We can do it
in order to
quickly.
meet the statutory notice requirements.
Okay, so that's a state requirement.
But the action that we're taking tonight enables those other actions to take place.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that's
Okay,
why we need to do
thank
that.
you for that. One other item. I know that I'd spoken to you regarding an element regarding the Bethune-Cookman University and suggested some language. Could you
Yes,
speak to that?
Yeah, I do have that, so if I could read that recommendation into the record. If you would refer to page 48 for item 6B that you have, I'll let you take a minute.
What was the number again?
To get
48?
page 48. And those are the programs and activities that we have listed. The last one we did was Liberty Plaza, number 7. And the suggestion here would be to add a number 8. And that would, it is worded as following. Okay? It says, innovative public, nonprofit, private collaborative partnership to address Midtown social problems, including but not limited to a community university partnership with Bethune-Cookman University that may also address the area's town and gown syndrome. I might suggest that the word syndrome might be replaced by issues, but that's...
Okay, that's acceptable.
Okay.
Did that go to the Midtown
Yeah,
Board?
did the Midtown Board?
No, this is new.
This came from me.
Okay.
Right.
But why?
No, I didn't
We
say
just said
why.
okay.
I said
Oh, no.
right.
Oh.
I
yes.
understand that. My question was just, had it been to the Midtown Board for their review before it came to us?
Now, this is something that when the plan was presented to us at our CRA meeting, I believe in January, that was brought up and were discussed, and I had not seen it still in there since then. So I'm offering this, and hope that you would be supportive of putting this as an addendum or addition to the plan for its acceptance.
Is that something we can do without the Midtown Board's recommendation? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Mr. Ivey, I'll give you opportunity to speak to that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I do believe in a couple of the seminars that we had, that Commissioner did bring that up. I do remember reading about it, and we was trying to work with Bethune-Cookman at the time to make sure they would come in and agree to the Town of Gowan concept. However, now that we have new leadership, I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem making sure that we can institute that into the master plan, because they are a foundation.
As chairman of that board, do you have any issue with us taking action on that recommendation without your board reviewing?
On this particular issue, Mayor, because we've discussed it before, I personally don't have an issue. But if you think we should take it back to the board and bring it back to you, I'd be fine with that. But because I have discussed it and read it, long as Bethune-Cookman understand that we are trying to partner with them in order to bridge a gap, I'm sure it would be no problem with the Midtown Board.
Marie, a question. If we took action supporting adding number 8 and the language that Mr. Berger read and adopted that this evening, and in the event the Midtown Board said, no, we don't like that language, or could it come back later and we could amend it to remove or change that language?
The CRA tonight is making a recommendation to the City Commission. The City Commission is the body that actually has the authority to amend the plan. So if when it comes to your City Commission meeting in a month, I think you could remove it at that point.
It's not coming tonight to
Would
the
it-
City Commission.
Would it be possible then to, since our commission meeting, according to Marie, it'll be another month before this would come back to us, won't there be a Midtown Board meeting in between?
Yes, there will be.
Where it could be just a discussion item, so that we could get some input from them before the final adoption?
Absolutely, we can do that.
Okay,
Okay.
great, thank you.
I'm comfortable with that.
I have another question for you, Reed, and I think that's where some of, because when I'm reading through this and looking at what we're doing, I see this as a great step forward in moving this master plan forward. But I think some of the confusion comes, was this the way that we did the E-zone? What appears from recollection that the E-zone, we as a commission adopted the E-zone plan, and then it came to us in this format.
Yes, you did adopt it right after it was presented, and then we had a community meeting and went forward with the redevelopment plan. So it is different in that way.
And that, I think that's what causes people concern, saying, why haven't we adopted this plan in that same manner and then brought it forward in this way? So what we're saying tonight then is that the fact that we are bringing, Paul, would you like to address that?
Yeah, my memory is maybe a little sharper than Reed's.
Oh.
The commission took action on the E-zone plan, but they were very careful to accept it,
Right.
not adopt it.
That's what I thought, okay, thank you.
So it was not adopted per se.
And didn't we accept this?
And that's
I
what
thought
we did with this plan.
yeah.
We accepted this plan as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was the
Okay,
same.
that, I'm just trying to say, because there's, the feeling is that there's something is different in the semantics, but it's the same thing. We accepted this in toto as a board, as a commission. We said we loved the plan, and this is the next step then to get that plan implemented.
Right.
I mean,
And-
that's
yeah.
how I read it. I've laid the plan next to everything. I've been going back and forth. I've been on the planning board a long time, and this is the step that we need to take to move this forward in a positive, proactive way. And
This is the important step, because
Yes.
it ties into everything we do from this point on with the Land Development Code and the comprehensive plan.
So this takes that precedent, and
Yes.
it also says that we're pending on this. To me, what this does is add a layer of protection as things move forward in the Midtown redevelopment area to say, this is where we're headed, and this is where we need to go.
Correct.
With anything that comes forward.
That shows all the commitment you need to go out and market this and tell people we want your investment in our community.
Thank
And
you.
this would appear on what agenda then, September, the first meeting in September?
Yes, it would be more reasonable to get there in September than complete it at the end of the month.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions, please, Commissioner?
Let's see, two things. I think we need to amend the motion to
Right,
add that
I was gonna amend my
language.
motion.
And also, and I'm supportive of that, but I think we also, I think Mr. Ivey kind of touched on it, since we're including Bethune-Cookman University in that item, I think they also need to be notified that September 5th, I believe, we'll be taking action on this, and if they have any input, that they may want to make it as well.
All right, and the question then, Reed, would you make that would you be the one to make that contact with Bethune-Cookman to show them the additional
I can do
language?
that.
Well, we need someone specifically. We need to make sure they're notified. So, okay.
I will do that, so I'll proceed.
Very
Thank you.
good.
May I?
No,
Just,
no, yeah.
no, just for a little clarification. In presenting this, I think that's an excellent idea, to have them to come and be notified that they're mentioned in the plan. But the item is, even if it just allows for that action to be taken, not that it has to be taken, but that's something that's really needed, I believe. And so it's not that we're asking their approval for it. I did not want that to be mistaken.
And that was my intent.
Information.
It was informational, because Mr. Ivy did point out that they had, it sounded like under their former leadership, they had some questions that maybe weren't completely answered, so that it's important now. The new leadership may not even know that those discussions had happened, before the new president got there.
Right.
So, but I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Would you amend your
I'll amend my
second?
motion.
Okay, everything's, any other
I'm
questions?
in my second, yes.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, like sign opposed. That motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Anyone, citizens?
I do have several speakers. Our first speaker is John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. Yesterday, there was a function at the Dickerson Center. Talked to several of the commissioners about this. The microphone kept going on and off and on and off. I'm asking if you can find some funds to fix that. It's not a lot of money, but they use that facility quite a bit throughout the year. I know Percy uses it. I know Emory Counts uses it. So it's well used, and it's something that we had a lot of people from out of the town looking at us, and it malfunctioned. So I'm asking you to consider that. Secondly, I'm asking Edith specifically. We have done I-95 to Nova Road has been redone on International. We're going to do the beach side. Midtown has their section done. Downtown is doing 2 of their 4 roads. Why are those 2 roads excluded
You're asking me specifically?
out of those 40 blocks?
Would you like to address that, Mr. Berger or Mr. Chisholm?
Do you know what he's talking about, Reed? No. I don't either.
You're going from US 1.
Yeah.
Downtown starts at the railroad tracks. The downtown discussed that they excluded those 2 streets. Reed Berger said we don't need to do those 2 streets. If we're going to do 40 city blocks, to exclude 2 streets does not make sense.
I don't think anything's been excluded, John. I think, I understand what you're saying. I now have your picture. But like I said, I don't think anything's being excluded. At this time, with this project, the particular project you were speaking of, that's the first item on the agenda.
Right.
That takes from US 1 all the way to A1A. That is a design project for enhancements within the right-of-way. And it's all based on availability of funds. We do have another project that is not to you yet, but it starts at Nova Road and goes up to Midtown, and it connects that part of Midtown.
Right.
As soon as we find the funds, we'll do the rest of it, the other blocks. I mean, this is all about financial feasibility and availability of money at the time.
Okay, because...
Nobody's leaving anything out.
Okay, Main Street went through this, and we did 11 of 13 blocks. We left 2 blocks unfinished when they did Main Street. It's been 25 years, and we haven't gotten to it yet. So I'm just saying, it takes a while, and to do all of this and leave 2 blocks out does not make sense in the very center of all of it. Secondly, when I made a comment about Midtown, we have property on the beach side that has been sitting vacant for 25 years. There was a property that wanted to be developed into a restaurant right over Silver Beach at Halifax. It went unused for 20 years. It finally turned out to be a crematorium. Why would the city prefer a crematorium over a small restaurant? And that's what we did. And we do that all over the city. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hemis Ivy, and on deck is John Birch.
Hey, Amos Ivy, 314 South Franklin Street, Daytona Beach, Florida. Once again, Mr. Mayor, I'm coming because I'm concerned about the diversity that we're dealing with when it comes to dealing with the police station site. I know the RFP went out. I know it's been answered, but I have received a couple calls that they're not being communicated with properly. So I'm asking that someone reaches out and talk to the applicants that has came down to try to do something in our community. It's hard enough for us to market our community, but when they're not being contacted, it creates like we don't want anything in our community. So I'm asking that someone contact Space Coast Law School and at least sit down and talk with them if we can make come to some type of solution, whether we're going to say yes or no, instead of having a potential client in our community on the ropes.
Amos, we've had conversations with them recently.
We have.
Jim, and so no one's being ignored, and we're exploring every opportunity to make that happen.
Okay, I received a call as early as today, Mr. Mayor, so I'm not, I won't dispute
I know,
back and forth.
but I've seen the I've seen the
right. I've seen the documents also, but when they send the information back in, if we don't communicate back with people in a timely manner, you get the sense that they're not wanted. And I'm only communicating the way things are being communicated to me because people just want to know. If we're going to move forward, let's move forward. If we're not, get an opportunity to move to another city.
I'll commit to you. We'll check into that. But
I appreciate it.
That was recent conversation, not weeks ago. It was recent. So,
okay,
but I'll check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Right.
Our next speaker is John Birch, and on deck is Marjorie Johnson.
John Birch, 755 Berkshire. First of all, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, I got two issues that I need to bring before the board. One is, I appreciate, it's the little guy that really makes things work in construction. And I came before you all whenever y'all gave me the opportunity to do some demo work. And I done a job, and I came before them, I told them I was gonna buy a little house at 755 Berkshire. I took my time and I took every board off a house over on the beach side. And I took it to the house that I was going to do, that Mark Criswell, it's back in the 11th month of last year. And me and Mark went around because I've been a builder and I've been beat up in this town because of what they say, you know too much. I can't speak proper English and verbs and adjectives, but I know 1357 Hill Gable, I'm a framer. I framed at Patrick Air Force Base. My daddy taught me how to build ragged little BB houses that look like you know what. I don't mind being a field, the word is on field land. But it's bad whenever the building department gives you a building permit. They gave me a building permit to do the work on the house. And I hauled all that lumber, I done my job superb. And then all of a sudden, when I start work, they took it back. You all haven't seen me for 5 months. You know why? Because I've been coming before the court board. Time they gave me the permit, Mark said, Birch, the house been on the demo list for the longest. It's been an eyesore, but yet it was boarded up. They knew the house, the city cut the grass. But guess what? All of a sudden when they give me a permit, they take it back. Then I got to go before this person. I can't fault that man there, but I can fault some of the people in the building department that if you issue a man a permit and you do your thing, don't come back and say, oh, they said they use a word, they said over exceeded the scope of the work. So all I'm trying to say is I would like someone to look into it because I'm not treated fairly. I know y'all, some of you all might like me, but God loves me for telling the truth. And I have to apologize for my family. I know you want to cut me off. Give me 1 second. I have to apologize because my mother didn't leave a will. And Miss Birch was a nice lady, but she didn't handle her business. And I have to apologize, but all I'm saying is somebody needs to give me a call so we can work this thing out because it's not right the way that I have been treated.
Okay, Paul, can I ask you a question?
Thank you. I have a permit here.
It sounds like you may be familiar a little bit with this.
Mr. Birch and I have talked before.
Okay, and Can you shed any light on that for us?
I'm a little familiar with it. I believe that a permit was pulled for about $8,000 worth of work. Was that the number?
Yeah, but the city,
What,
the make a long, short story.
Okay, now let him talk first.
again, I think there was a problem with the permit because, as I recall, an application was submitted to do about $8,000 worth of repairs to the home. And obviously, there was an inspection and a determination made that the scope of work for the permit was exceeded. Now, you've been to the Code Enforcement Board?
No work been done. If you ride by Berkshire, all I've done is clean the house out.
What-
The
what-
house was terrible.
what I need to
There ain't
do
no
is-
permit been, I haven't even called for now inspection. They stopped me when I was cleaning the house out. The house
What I need to
been
do is
clean.
sit down with somebody from the building department and probably somebody from code that's handling this case and try to sort it out, sir.
And you'll get back with Mr. Birch. Do you have a contact information for him?
Mr. Birch knows how to find me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Paul.
Our final speaker is Marjorie Johnson.
Marjorie Johnson, 122 South Peach Street. I'm here today because I'm concerned about Martin Luther King. And Cassandra, you've been sitting in the office for some time, and I've been asking her, when would this road be resurfaced? It's in terrible condition. And I spoke with Mr. Berger one time, and he gave me some dates, and I don't have any information. And I want someone to give me some information tonight, because we're taxpaying citizens, and we want our monies reinvested in our community. But you're spending money everywhere on B Street, in the pier. We need something done over there in Midtown. We pay a lot of taxes. I've been paying taxes at my residence since 1969, and I just have been approached by a lot of people asking me, when are they going to do something about that? So I need an answer to that tonight.
You talk about repaving of MLK?
Yes.
I don't have an answer for you tonight. I do
Well,
know it's
Mr.
on.
Berger, do you have an answer?
Hang on,
Does
just a
Sandra
minute.
have an answer?
Just a minute. We have a list of streets and roads that are on a paving list, and it probably is one of those, but I can find out. All the streets that we paved this year, the funds that we had available are already spent on those streets. We have no more money available right now for any additional paving this year. And next year, we will have funds, and I'll have to look and see where it is on the list to be paved.
Okay, then that's great. So you're saying next year that may happen?
If it's on the list and if it's one of those that's a top priority for us, yeah, we'll certainly get it done.
Well, I would like you to make that a top priority, because a lot of residents would like that to happen, and I'd like to see it happen also.
Marta, we are making Orange Avenue happen, and that's been a huge priority of this commission and everyone else.
And mine also.
And so we're working hot and heavy on that to make that happen. So as the manager said, if it's on the list next year, hopefully we'll get started on that next year.
Okay, I
it's
appreciate
important,
that.
too, that some part of Martin Luther King
Has been done.
Well, I'm talking about from the Dickerson Center on back
So it's probably,
and all the way down to the end
I
down
just don't want
there.
anyone to get the wrong
Yeah,
idea.
that's
that
the
we haven't
portion that
paved
I'm
any of it.
speaking about, in front of the Dickerson Center, Miss Kelly.
That's good
I'm
point.
aware.
Some of it has been
And
done.
it does need to be paved. but
Yes,
I just
I
want to
know
make sure
about the
that
part that's been paved, but
we're
I'm
aware of
referring specifically to the part from the Dickerson Center on back. And he said he would look into it, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Very good.
That is our final speaker.
All right. Is there any other questions, comments, thoughts from the CRA board? Hearing none, we're adjourned. We will take about a 2-minute break, and then we'll convene our city commission meeting.